Hi, Brian. So great that you can join us. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be here, Dan.
And you know that this is about difference makers, and you are such a difference maker. I mean, you are truly inspirational to people of all ages, actually, certainly young children all the way up to not so young as well. Could you just tell our audience just a little bit about you, please?
Certainly. So I am a futurist. I work with organizations and individuals to look 10 years out into the future. I model both positive and negative futures, and then I'm also an applied futurist. So then I backcast and say, okay, what are the steps that people and organizations need to take today to move towards that positive future and move away from the negative? And that's really what I've done for the past 25 years. I'm also an author. I write science fiction and science fact, but really, I'm a geek and a nerd. I love all things science. I love all things science fiction. So that's really who I am.
Excellent. And your background of books definitely shows that you are a lover of all things science and science fiction, for sure. Why do you think engineering and technology is so important for our future?
Well, I mean, the future is my business. It's what I get to spend all my time doing. And it's really what I've spent the majority of my life doing, is thinking about the future and thinking about not only what's coming in the future, but how to make the future better. And that's a big part of it. So how do we make things better? Well, the first is you've got to imagine it. You've got to imagine a future, because nothing great was ever built by human beings that wasn't imagined first. So we have to have an imagination and use our imagination. And I think what most people don't understand is that imagination is the number one most underutilized tool in business and education, but really also in engineering and science and all the STEM areas. That imagination allows you to not only imagine a better future, but to imagine a future that's far more awesome, so that we can actually then get together and build it. And that's why engineering is so incredibly important, because I believe as we move into the future, we are all going to be engineers. Whether you are a mathematician, whether you are a footballer, whether you are an architect or an artist, we will all be engineers. We may not have university degrees in engineering. We may not all have maths degrees, but we'll all use that engineering mindset. And I think that's what's so important. I think that's what's so important about the IET, is how do we get that mindset and those skills and understand that if you want to be a really good artist or a really good musician, you are going to be an engineer.
And to children, that sort of growth mindset is so important, isn't it? And the imagination of children. I mean, you must find the same when I work with children and we talk about, engineering and what would it look like in the future and things like that. Their imagination just doesn't have any boundaries at all. I find it so inspiring when I talk to young children about engineering.
Well, this was one of the things that excited me so much about the work that we did together at the IET this year, was writing up that co-authored paper, thinking about the future. So what will the future look like? What are the technologies? What will the jobs be like? And we were working together, and it was great. Again, I have a weakness for the IET, so we're working really hard to figure out how can we give students and parents really pragmatic things to do, right? And really talk to those young students. And we said, well, let's not just write about them, let's go talk to them. And this made my summer. This was the best thing I did all summer, is we went on a talking tour via Zoom all over the UK, talking to these young women and men about the future, about technology, about engineering. And 2 of 1, all of them were excited about the future.
Do you find that the energy that you find in sort of primary school children, sometimes when you're talking to secondary school children, it gets a bit lost?
I don't think it's so much as children go. I think it's as we come towards adulthood. As we get more experience, as we have ups and downs and the experiences of life, I think it just gets complicated. And as we become adults, things just get complicated. Yeah. It's not bad. It's not, for me, that's not gloom and doom. I'm not a pessimist about that, adults can't be imaginative, or as we grow, our imaginations die. No, it's not that at all. The thing that we have to do is encourage each other. Encourage children, because that's one of the things that we wrote about in the IET report this summer, was that parents, especially at that age range that we were talking to, parents have the most influence, more influence in social media, more influence than their friends. It's incredibly important that parents get excited, that we all get excited about engineering and the future and imagination, because that becomes infectious. That's one of the reasons why I'm such an unabashed geek and a nerd, because I love engineering and science fiction. And I try to get other people excited about that, because that excitement then breeds other excitement.
How does it make you feel, when you see that, when you have an audience or a class, if you're giving a lecture, and you've just seen somebody just get what you say? How does it make you feel?
When I see that light go on, I have two things happen, and they happen very quickly. Because I spend a lot of my life on stage, and so I'm very comfortable there. And when you see the light go on, there's a rush, because you realize now that's one extra person that can actually make a better future for themselves and for their family and for their community. And then followed by that rush is humility. This is one of the things that I've learned throughout my career, and what I've been doing is that you need other people, and that it's actually about being humble. Going and knowing that you don't have all the answers, knowing that you need to, and that it's an incredibly powerful thing to be able to get people to have that energy and to be able to see that. And instantly I pivot to that humility, knowing that there's so much more to do. What
would you say to anyone who is considering a career in engineering and technology?
I worry that people feel like if you go, that you're slotting yourself in and you say you're an engineer, and I am an engineer, and I am a very non-traditional engineer. And it was only much later in my sort of career and talking to these people that I realized that, oh yeah, it's okay. I'm a better science fiction author because I'm an engineer, right? I'm a better futurist. I'm a better public speaker because I'm an engineer. I'm actually a better painter because I'm an engineer. And I think that's what I'm trying to shift. And so you can be an engineer. You could be a structural engineer. You could be a system architect like myself, a software engineer. You could be a mathematician. You could be whatever you want, or not. Maybe you're a nurse or a doctor or a teacher. You're still going to be doing engineering, and it will make you better at what you're passionate about.
Well, you've definitely passed my test for an engineer, because you talk like this. We all talk like this. We talk with our hands, don't we? I can't do anything, talking to you or, being part of a lecture or something without talking with my hands like this. And this is what engineers do.
And then the next step, we talk with our hands, and then we look for a whiteboard.
Yes, that's right.
Or a chalkboard, depending upon.
Yeah.
Can I draw this for you?
Yeah,
yes.
I need to draw it now. Yes, absolutely. Oh, thank you so much, Baron. You are such a difference maker, and I'm so pleased and honoured that you're part of our President's Address this year. Thank you so much. I've got one more thing for you.
Yep.
A joke, engineering joke. Tell me your best engineering joke.
What is the first subject that elves learn in school?
I don't know. What is the first subject that elves learn in schools?
The alphabet.
Brilliant. Love it. Oh, BDJ, you are a legend. Thank you so much. And you are such a difference maker. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan. It's a pleasure to talk with you today, and a pleasure to do work with the IET. Thank you very much.